Okay.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. This is such an honor. I was just explaining to your son that my son is 18. He's on the autism spectrum. I've been in the special needs world his whole life, very involved. And his favorite thing in the world is socks. And when he finds out that I interviewed you two, he is going to absolutely be just happy beyond measure.
Well, what is his name?
Miles.
Miles with a Myles?
No, not it's ILES. He was named after Miles Davis. I'm a jazz fan.
Ah, ah,
How do you like that?
there,
That's cool.
that's very cool.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I have a jazz radio show here in Kansas City, and he has always been involved. He does plugs on my show, and he's yeah, he loves it. But his love, I'm telling you, it's evolved over the years. He used to really be into bracelets, but then he got into socks. So socks is like, and I've seen your socks in stores, and I know the story, and I'm always like, wow, I would love to know and talk to you guys about how this happened and get in there. So
and I'd like to check out your jazz show. It's this is great.
yes,
And that you have a son named Miles because
exactly.
you know
Yeah,
it's one of the things we get to do with having kids. We get to come up with names.
that's
I
it.
love I love kids.
Oh,
You love-
yeah,
That's good of you.
absolutely. Well, gentlemen, this is so great to talk to you. What I would love to do is just to kind of get into the
Yeah.
history and the mission and how this all started. So thank you so much for taking time out today.
Be glad to do it. I hope it's not upsetting that we're in two different locations.
No, no, with the power of Zoom and modern technology, we're all in the same room.
It's
That'd be great. I really appreciate it.
So it is all good. So let's go back to the beginnings here. How did the company begin? How did the fascination, John, with you with socks and with you, Mark, how did all of this kind of begin?
well, we'll go back to John.
I
We'll go back to the
appreciate it.
beginning, right? So let's go back to the fall of 2016, and the story starts in a small log cabin in the woods.
No.
And it starts on suburban Long Island. We're in a town called Huntington outside New York City.
I love Huntington.
And where were you, buddy?
I was at Huntington High School. I'm gonna be my last year of school.
Okay.
And it's something you may be experiencing shortly with Miles. You can stay in the school system until you either graduate or turn 21. So John, whichever comes first. So John was going to be turning 21, and they were going to say, "Get out. We've had enough."
Yeah.
And so he was like everybody else, trying to figure out, what do I do next? What comes after school? And what were you looking at?
I look at school program and job like work. I can't find crap that I don't like, and I make myself an opportunity. And my dad saying that I am a entrepreneur.
Well, this is something you may already be experiencing with Miles. There just aren't enough opportunities.
Yeah.
Right.
John couldn't find meaningful work. But like he said, he's a natural entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
That's
You didn't
wonderful.
If you didn't see a job you wanted, what'd you say?
I said I want to create one. I want to make one, and I told my dad I want to go business with him. A nice father and son business together.
Which is
Wonderful.
right. I'm a lucky man, Joe.
Yes, you are.
I've got 3 sons, and John is one I can work with.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So okay, we're going to go into business, and John has a lot of ideas.
Yeah, look at my ears.
Smoke comes out of your ears, right? And some of them are good ideas, What was one of them to start a business?
One of them is a food truck. I saw a really called Chef. It's John Favreau. I eat a neat movie about a father and son fighting a food truck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a food truck. This seemed like a really fun idea. And with
Oh,
that,
I love hot dog, Dad.
what could we make? Where would we put it?
Right.
We ran into a problem.
Oh, we can't cook.
Yeah. But then,
Uh-oh.
right before Thanksgiving, if you're international listeners, the U.S. Thanksgiving, John had his eureka moment.
Yeah, I want to sell crazy socks. Why socks? It's fun. It's colorful.
Yep.
It's creative. It's always let me be me. I want crazy socks my whole life. I drive around and look for those socks. Of people look through socks too.
Yeah.
That's right. We used to drive around looking for these socks. So this is what we figured. If John loved them that much,
A cousin of other people do.
people like Miles,
Yeah.
we could find those people. So at that point, we decided to go the lean startup route. We didn't prepare a detailed business plan. We didn't have huge plans of big investments. We said, let's get something up and running, and we'll see how people respond. So John already had the name.
Yeah, I have a name. I draw a website, a couple ideas.
Yeah.
We built a simple website. We got a little bit of inventory. The only marketing we did was to set up a Facebook page.
Yes, that's Facebook.
I would take out my cell phone and we made videos. And who do you think was in those videos?
I am. I talk about socks. So my catchphrase is socks, and more socks.
That's awesome.
And we noticed something. People started sharing those videos.
Yes.
And then what date we open, buddy?
We opened December 9th, 2016. And I didn't expect.
It was on a Friday, and we didn't know what to expect. But that first day, we got what felt like a flood of orders. We got 42 orders.
Wow.
And most of them were local, which made sense, right? We lived in Huntington. He was in high school. We had temporary office space. So how did we deliver those first orders?
Red boxes. I put a sock in the box. I put in a like sticky note I wrote, and I put all the best for the kisses. Load the car. I got nugget doors. Customer response. They love the socks. I take a picture with me in a sock with a customer and share it on social media. Or would I get a spread?
We were having a blast, driving around, delivering these socks. We had customers ordering again just to get John.
I thought I could get back out of their
Whole families waiting to take pictures with John.
Yes.
It was great fun. So by the end of that month, really 2 weeks, we had shipped 452 orders.
Wow.
And we knew we had something.
Yeah.
We didn't know how big it would get. We didn't know how fast we would grow. But we knew we had something. And you learn by doing. So we had learned a few things. One,
why people wanted to buy socks, and two, people want to buy socks from me, and it related to me.
It related to John.
Yes.
They liked that personal touch of the thank you note and the candy. They liked the fact we had already pledged 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
And you find out that that young man there and this old man.
There's an old man, ain't my dad.
We could sell socks.
Old.
So that's how we got started. We'll celebrate our 7th anniversary this December. Today, how many different socks do we have?
We have 4,000 different kinds of socks.
Wow.
In sources, I am the world's largest stock store.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank
We've
you.
been able to create 34 jobs. 22 of those are held by people with different abilities. We've shipped 435,000 packages to 88 different countries. Our Giving Back program has now raised over $650,000 for our charity partners. And as John likes to say,
I think it's started.
just get
That is amazing. I'm totally blown away. And I come from a very personal place because I think about Miles and what we do together and to be able to do that. But John, you have a natural ability at this. I mean, you really, I get the sense that this is your calling in life.
Um,
Is this what you were born to do?
yeah, I do. I want. I born like I want to create stuff. I feel a passion, and it includes in me because I know I love creating socks. I always bright up my day.
It's, and part of John's drive is, making
Yeah.
other people happy.
Yeah.
Has a tremendous empathetic nature about him.
Yeah.
And part of it is also I'm not being glib when I say he's a natural entrepreneur. He's always willing to take risk. He's willing to work very hard, and is undaunted. And it's kind of interesting. And maybe we see traits in people. We can go backwards and see threads that were there all along.
Yeah.
I can go back and see things that John did growing up or through high school, where he was always an entrepreneur. He was always creating things and organizing things and never stopping. Like we got asked once by a student, well, who did you have to ask permission from to do this? Right? Well, there's nobody you got to ask permission. You just go and do. And John's always had that sense of, I can go and do things, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to tell you real quick, one extra similarity that we have. My father was born in Brooklyn and raised in Long Island. He's from Babylon. He's from Massapequa.
Oh, nice.
Hey, there we go.
So
Nice.
that my aunt and uncle used to own a pastry shop up there, and that was his weakness. On the way to LaGuardia, he would try to bring home a box of pastry, but he would get so hungry he would eat the whole box and get a stomach ache before he got on the flight.
There you go.
So,
We've John is the only one of our three sons who never lived in Brooklyn, but the others did. We did there, and you're out in Kansas City. I'm a big Bob Dylan fan, and he played Kansas City, and he opened by playing Kansas City.
I just missed that. It was on the 11th, and I was hoping to go. And I guess when you walk in, you got to put your phone in a pouch. They want it to be all in the moment.
Yeah.
I did see Bob Dylan at a festival we had in the late 90s, and it rained and there was mud everywhere, and we had a blast. He got up there and it didn't matter. It was like, we're going to go in, and the only thing we did was we dirtied our socks.
Hey, I we going to see Bob Dylan concert in next year in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Right. But see, the story, the guy's 82 years old, and he's off touring.
Yeah.
Geez, I'd like to be doing that when I'm 82.
Yeah. He's got the heart of a lion. They're saying it might be his last tour. They were saying this might be his last time in Kansas City.
Well, he's taken up the joke that it's a never-ending tour.
Yeah.
From like 1988 until the pandemic, he would do like 200 dates a year. And it's an interesting way to be, that it's about the performance. And he just keeps going. That guy, oh, this would have been back 90s or something. He received the Kennedy Honors Award. They're always throwing honors at him.
Yeah.
Well, the next day he played a small club in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then the next night he was in New Haven. And
Yep.
then the next night he was in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's like, that's what I do. I go and play.
He never forgot where he came from, and that's what strikes me about you, John, is that
Yeah.
you have that sense that you will never forget that joy that socks bring you.
Is that so, John? Does socks still make you happy?
Yeah, socks always make me happy. I always brighten my day.
So, what was the first pair of socks that you got that was like, wow, I love these? It was your favorite pair.
Our very first sock I we have is a down from a winter socks. I put in a contents. Did it back 2017. Just around February, and I retrying looking at a down from winter socks.
But we should explain that when we started, we were only selling other people's socks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's, we got started, and John and I, and it was interesting because nobody wanted to sell us socks until we could show that we had customers.
Yeah.
If we can't get any inventory, how can we get any customers? So we had to cajole some people to sell us some products. And then we find out, firsthand, because neither of us had a background in retail, that nobody buys anything in January because they spent all their money at the holidays.
Yeah, right.
So we're trying to figure out, what can we do to sell? And that's when we discovered that people celebrate World Down Syndrome Day by wearing crazy socks.
Yeah.
When is World Down Syndrome Day?
Our World Down Syndrome Day. Our World Down Syndrome Day is on March 21st. 321 is the March 21st. Celebrate our World Down Syndrome Day.
Because you get Down syndrome.
Yeah.
321st chromosomes.
Yeah.
Now, you would have thought we knew that before we started a sock store.
Yes.
We're not that smart. So we go looking for a Down syndrome themed sock to sell. Nobody made one. But here's where my entrepreneurial partner comes.
I said I want to create one. I want to make one.
Yeah.
He designed the world's first Down syndrome awareness sock.
Wow.
And then we called up the National Down Syndrome Society and said, hey, we're going to sell these socks. We're going to give you money from every pair. And they said, who are you? We did that actually with two partners, two charity partners, a group called ACDS, where John had gone to preschool. And they tell the story of their head of development walked in the CEO's office and said, I got this call. There are these two guys. They say they're going to sell socks, and they want to give us money from these socks. And Michael Smith, the CEO, is explaining, says, so we sat in the office trying to figure out, what's the catch? And where could this go wrong? And we couldn't figure it out. So we said, all right, we'll do it. And then a month later, John sent them a $3,000 check, and John was their new best friend.
Oh, that's wonderful. My son, the reason why he's on the spectrum is because he has one extra long piece of chromosome material on his 15th chromosome.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how all of those things can happen. So I'm curious, for each of you, I got this question. Who is your hero?
My hero is my dad. And my dad is my hero. I know my dad, and she knows. She knows that he knows that he believed in me. He gave me strength. He knew He knew how I become. He is my hero. He's my dad, and he wanted to support me, and I love Dad.
Well, I guess, Sean, I'm supposed to say you're my hero, and not say it's Mickey Mantle. It's I'm 65. I'm a little old to have heroes, but I see role models around all the time, and John is inspiring in that way. You, I'm going to guess you found this with Miles. When John was born, one of the lines that we would hear from people, and they meant well, was, God only gives a burden to those he knows can handle the burden. Well, first, that's a very odd view of the cosmos.
Yeah.
God is floating around, and then he looks down and he says, those two, they seem to be doing okay. Boom, let's see if he can handle this. But the other part is, assuming, don't assume my son is a burden. And
right.
It turns out we're the lucky ones.
Mm-hmm.
John has made me a better person. He's made my wife and his brothers better people. He's helped us see and understand more. And we're so fortunate in that way. And in our business, John really is the leader. And there are lots of different ways to lead, but lead by example. Because what would John do? What's John's approach? Here's, we could talk about our mission. What's our mission, pal?
Great happiness.
That comes, straight from John's heart.
Yeah.
And we have 5 pillars that we built the business on. One of them is making it personal in the way we deal with customers. Well, a lot of that comes from John. But you've heard the line, the customer is always right. Nonsense.
Right.
It can be dead wrong. But we're not in the business of being right.
Yeah.
We're in the business of spreading happiness.
Right.
Sometimes you find yourself in a difficult situation, or a colleague will. If you just pause and say, what would John do? Gives guidance, right? It helps us figure things out.
Yeah, I got to say, my son is my hero. He works so hard every year. It seems like there's just so many new things that are a part of him. And I agree wholeheartedly for people to assume that anything's a burden when you've been given such a wonderful gift and you get to see the world in a way that you never knew was possible. I think of it as that movie where it was black and white for a while, the whole movie, and then all of a sudden it was color.
Color, yes.
You know?
It's part of it is seeing people's strengths and abilities. There's an educational theorist, Howard Gardner, who says that we have 7 different intelligences. I think he's added an 8th. We measure 2 in school, an analytical and a verbal one, right? Your SAT scores. But we have a social intelligence. We have a physical intelligence. Look at Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
We have, you can call it an executive intelligence, the ability to organize and manage things. And when Howard Gardner does a profile of somebody, he'll do it using bar charts. So you might be high here and lower, a little bit lower there. There's no absolute. I think of John as having like 400 distinct intelligences.
Yeah.
Some of them he's like a 2-year-old, and some he's off the charts. But that's all of us.
Yeah.
So let's play to people's strengths. We don't ask John to do our finances. But boy, does he give a good interview.
Yeah.
Boy, is he great on TV. Nobody gives a better tour than you, John, right? Nobody better ambassador. So why don't we focus on that?
Yeah.
we, in our business, much of what we do is run a warehouse and a fulfillment operation, right? Orders come in, you have to fulfill them. It's a pick and pack warehouse. Yeah, orders come in, you pick them, you pack them, and you send them out. It's a boom business. Many people outsource it. And what do we call our pickers, John?
Stock wranglers.
Well, to become a stock wrangler, it's really simple. When we have an opening, you apply and you meet with John and me because we want you to understand our mission and our story and our values. And we also want to make sure you want to be there, that you're not there because mom and dad want you to be there or a job coach wants you to be there. Then we'll provide you with training. Our current stock wranglers will train you. John, you've trained a whole bunch of people, right?
I do. I train a lot of people.
And then you have to pass the stock wrangler test. You have to pick 6 orders in 20 minutes or less. There is nothing extraneous here. We're not asking you to do things you don't have to do.
Yeah.
Pass that test, you got the job. And you can be quiet. You don't even have to be able to talk. If you can understand, and we'll teach you, we use different mechanisms of verbal, written, visual. We'll demonstrate to you. Let's focus on what people can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're so much better off.
Yeah.
We do a lot of public speaking, and it's one of the reasons we appreciate you having us on this show. Most of our public talks, we start at the very beginning of when John was born. And, again, you maybe not right from birth, but you went through this with Miles. There's all this negativity. I mean, literally within an hour of John being born, the covering OB came in and looked at my wife and myself and said, "I'm so sorry. I have bad news for you. It appears that your son may have a slight case of Down syndrome." And you hear all this negativity. And in fact, John had very significant medical challenges. Day 3 of life, he needed intestinal bypass surgery.
Wow.
We brought a Catholic priest into the hospital to baptize him. Didn't know if he'd survive the operation. Before he was 3 months old, John, about 50% of people born with Down syndrome were born with significant heart defects.
Yeah.
John had 2 holes in his heart. His heart couldn't keep up. He wasn't growing. Before he was 3 months old, he was in full congestive heart failure. I mean, I held my boy in my arms. He was turning blue. Had open heart surgery. Again, didn't know if he could survive the operation. Couldn't live without it. As he grew, John couldn't talk. Right, buddy? You learned sign language. You used an assistive voice device. And so it's a question we put to people. You describe this. And so what chance did that baby have in our world? With all this negativity and all these challenges, what could become of that child?
Yeah.
And the answer is, he could grow up to change the world. John's little idea is now the world's largest sock store. We've testified twice before the US Congress. We have to quickly add nowadays, we were not subpoenaed.
Yeah.
Spoken at the United Nations. John's been named EY Entrepreneur of the Year. And that's really the lesson, right? Look at the possibilities.
Absolutely.
In each of us. Look what we can do. Don't give me the excuses of how hard it is and what you can't do. Look what we can do.
Absolutely.
And look at what everybody we meet can do.
Uh-huh.
It's so simple and obvious.
And I keep coming back to that motto, spreading happiness. That's it. That's it right there. You're spreading happiness.
And John, what do you say are the keys to happiness?
One of matter is gratitude is gratitude and to others.
John, approaches life with this immense sense of gratitude. Just be grateful for what you have. Anything.
Absolutely.
It's and this will sound trite. The more we do for others, the better off we are.
Yeah.
And you'll feel better about yourself. If
Yeah.
you're there just thinking about yourself, you will never be happy.
Yeah.
And take, this past Friday, Saturday. So we're down on Long Island outside New York City. We drove up to Boston because John is enrolled in a medical research study out of Mass General Hospital. We got up at 5 a.m, John? Neither of us are morning people.
Yeah.
5 a.m, go catch a ferry, drive up there, go to this exam. We needed to be back on by Saturday. Get a bite to eat, drive back, spend the night in Connecticut, get back Saturday afternoon. John was just so happy.
Yeah.
This is so cool. We're on another road trip.
That's so cool.
Right? And somebody else would be miserable.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful. So in the sake of time, because just the way Zoom works here, I am so appreciative. It's such an honor to be able to speak with you. I want to make sure that everyone out there before we leave here knows where to go and get socks. I saw the monthly subscription. I think I'm going to get Miles signed up. I'm very excited. So let everybody know the good news. Where can they get the socks?
You can find us at johnscrazysocks.com.
johnscrazysocks.com. We're on every social media platform. We're very active on Facebook and Instagram. But John, you now have, we have 240,000 Facebook followers. But John, you got like 65,000 TikTok followers.
Yeah, I love TikTok.
Yeah.
I did a TikTok.
John hosts a dance party every Tuesday.
I would do online dance party every Tuesday at 3 p.m.
But if folks are out there a little sell, we sell direct to consumers through our website. We also make custom socks. So we've done those for Google and Microsoft, but for weddings and sweet 16s and the local lawyer or accountant. We're now in the wholesale channel, so stores are starting to carry us. We're at 850 Kohl's stores. But here's what it comes down to. You're going to get some great socks, right? Yeah. We have over 30,000 5-star reviews. You're going to get great socks. But every time you buy from us, you help us employ people with different abilities. More than half of our colleagues have a different ability. You help us give back. And most of all,
that's happening.
Bingo.
John, you got words of advice for people?
Yes, I do. Follow your heart, follow your dreams, work hard, show you can do.
Wonderful. That is the perfect way to wrap everything up. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
And it's good we do this. We get along now before the Jets play the Chiefs again in the playoffs.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got a truce. Gentlemen, this has been wonderful. I am so happy that we had the chance to talk and interview. Thank you for doing the work you do. Keep spreading happiness, and thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
See you guys.